A multi-million-dollar TAFE fund will help bring aviation students to the Valley with a new training accreditation announced for a local campus. The boost will see future crews for major international airlines trained in Gippsland. Bridget Davies reports.
A cash injection of $6.5 million means Traralgon TAFE training can get off to a flying start. The funding, along with a new accreditation by the Civil Aviation Safety Authority, will see the TAFE campus become a training ground for aviation maintenance work.
The castle training is an addition to the training that is currently undertaken at Federation Training, but it essentially means that they'll be able to do high-end maintenance of aircraft.
The campus is now the only CASA accredited base in Victoria, meaning students from across the state will come to the Valley to gain an aeroskills qualification. Across town, qualifications in the beauty industry are on offer at a new salon. Teacher Alana Bell has carved out a successful career as a celebrity makeup artist.
Also worked for Crown Casino on events like the Logies and the Brownlow and many other events that they have there.
Now passing on her skills, Alana says students here can compete with the best in the city.
So students that come here and learn can go out and work at any level and be okay.
Such is the demand for makeup training in Gippsland. When Inspire's latest Certificate 3 was advertised online, places were booked out within 10 minutes.
Working with products that have been used everywhere from the Oscars through to Opera Australia really does provide students with the very best training right here in the Latrobe Valley.
And the salon is now open for business. Bridget Davies, 9 News.
The future of barramundi in the Hazelwood's pondage remains unclear amid calls from anglers to keep the heat on. A swift drop in water temperature could result in the death of an estimated 3,000 fish in the pond. Daniel Miles reports.
It's a picture-perfect scene, but something's missing. The trademark steam that used to rise from the Hazelwood pondage is gone, and with it, potentially, the barramundi.
Unfortunately, they're probably not going to survive. So once the water starts to cool off, we'll probably start to see some die off. I think there'll be a lot of dead carcasses out there.
Which is a far from appetising proposition. The government has yet to lock in a way to keep the pondage at its current temperature.
It's a watch this space situation, but again, there are so many opportunities for this particular pondage to remain a fishing destination.
Though they are warm water fish, barramundi can survive in temperatures as cool as 19 to 20 degrees. But with Hazelwood's generators now officially turned off and the pondage starting to cool, the government's in a race against time to ensure the survival of Gippsland's barramundi population. But contingency plans are in place.
We'll be ensuring that if there is a fish kill event, that they're cleaned up very quickly and that local residents in the community won't have to deal with the aftermath of a fish kill.
Dead fish aside, there are plenty of reasons to keep the pondage warm.
Over the course of this fishery, we've seen $700,000 received into local coffers.
And Fisheries Victoria are confident that the barra, like the tourists flocking to Morwell, aren't going anywhere.
We know that there's going to continue to be warm water coming into the pondage post the power station turning off, and we're going to have a fantastic fishery, hopefully, for a while to come yet.
Daniel Miles, 9 News.
A Hazelwood power station worker has provided a unique insight into his final day on the job. 9 News was with Danny Boothman on his last shift, capturing the moment he hung up his hat and said goodbye. Alexandria Satsamarkis joined him.
It's 4:48 p.m. Danny relaxes with a cup of tea, part of his usual pre-work routine, but today is different.
I'm sort of feeling a little bit depressed at the moment in some ways, just because I've tried to shut it out, and now with the last night and everything else, it sort of all gets on top of you at once.
Danny has served the power industry for 29 years, but his passion is music. Before getting ready, he plays a tribute to Hazelwood, the old girl.
Let's all have a drink to Hazelwood, lift your glasses high. Let's all have a drink to Hazelwood, it's sad to watch the old girl die.
Your way of saying goodbye?
Yeah, pretty well, yeah.
Danny buttons up his uniform. The colours have changed over the years, but the meaning remains the same.
Because it represents where we work and what we do, and we're quite proud of what we do as a team.
The drive to the power station is unlike any other.
It's a bit surreal going in. Yeah, just don't know how to describe it really. It's the end of an era really, isn't it?
At 6:30 a.m, Danny finishes his final shift. Farewell messages cover a panel and mates reflect on years of friendship.
Yeah, I caught up with Danny and Danny definitely puts up with me.
He walks through the station one last time.
I don't think it'll hit me for a couple of days really. That's when it'll all sort of, you think, you walk out now and you think, well, I'm never coming back here. So yeah, it's a bit strange.
Now a former worker, he adds to the rows of helmets lining the fence and sends a message of hope.
It's all the best for the future, guys. Times will get better, hopefully, and just don't look back, look forward.
Alexandria Zazimarkis, 9 News.
Workers leaving Hazelwood this week are being warned to brace for the confronting reality of losing their jobs. Health experts are urging employees to be on the front foot when it comes to dealing with the full impact of job loss.
An emotional tribute lines the fence of Hazelwood after dozens of workers hang their hats for the last time.
Obviously this is a big event and has a big impact on many people, there's no doubt about that.
It's the end of an era for the power station, and many employees are turning their thoughts towards an uncertain future.
It's got the capacity to affect so many people. People may experience increased levels of depression or anxiety, and that's natural with something of this significance occurring.
The Australian Medical Association warns the health effects of unemployment need to be considered.
We need to recognise that the decarbonising our economy, changing our power supply will have victims as well. We need to try and look after those people.
For many workers, Hazelwood's been a large part of their lives for years, and there are fears they will soon start feeling a sense of loss. Those who are finding it difficult to cope with the changes are encouraged to see a professional.
People can go through a grieving process for something like that, and that can last for weeks or it can last for years.
Bronte Ryan, Win News.
The state government has toured the valley today, splashing cash on the region's education sector. The Minister for Training and Skills opened the Federation Training Hair and Beauty Centre and announced funding for new courses.
You'd be forgiven for thinking you just walked into Latrobe Valley's newest beauty salon. This high-class training facility is home to the next generation of hairdressers, makeup artists and massage therapists.
I did beauty at Newborough with Alana 6 years ago, I think it was now, and way better facility. Like, it's just closer to everything.
Inspire was officially opened today by Education and Training Minister Gail Tierney. The facility's trainers say the amenities rival that of an international salon.
Well, Inspire, that's what we aim to do. So I think that it's, I did see some of the entries and it was certainly my favourite, so it's going to be great.
The Minister also announced $6.5 million to help get a new Federation Training aviation course up off the ground.
This will help a number of people who are interested in aviation get on and gain new skills and find new careers, hopefully locally, but also interstate and internationally as well.
75 students will be eligible to take part in the course at the only accredited provider in the state certified by the Civil Aviation Safety Authority.
Yeah, there's a growing interest in it, and we're particularly excited because there are ongoing discussions at the moment with Latrobe City in particular around creating an aviation precinct here in Traralgon.
Rachel Cocard, Win News.
The state government has warned it's monitoring the energy market for any evidence of price gouging following the closure of the Hazelwood power station. Our reporter Jean Edwards is at Hazelwood and joins us now. Jean, what does the station's closure mean for power prices in Victoria?
Well, with the Hazelwood officially off the grid, Victorians are bracing for a spike in power prices, but exactly what kind of spike is up for debate. Wholesale electricity prices jumped ahead of the shutdown, with some energy consultants predicting bill increases of up to 20%. But state government commissioned modelling forecasts an increase of between 4 and 8% for domestic bills over 2 years. Now, the federal government has ordered a national review of retail electricity prices by the consumer watchdog, and that's in addition to an Andrews government review that was sparked by concern about a lack of competition in the energy market. Now, the Premier says he knows it's hard on families when power prices rise, and he says his government will take action to ensure that retailers don't rip people off.
There's a process in place, and anybody who is caught gouging or using the closure of Hazelwood to make super profits will be dealt with.
And Jean, how are Hazelwood workers planning to mark the plant's closure tomorrow?
Well, Hazelwood generated its last electricity yesterday and the last shift will clock off here early on Saturday morning. Hazelwood's closure comes with the loss of 750 jobs, and although 135 employees are staying on to decommission the plant and to rehabilitate the mine, it's still a pretty grim time here in the Latrobe Valley. Now tomorrow Hazelwood's owner will host an informal staff lunch here, and workers will also gather in the car park behind me for a union run barbecue. For some, tomorrow marks the start of their retirement. For others, it's a nervous wait to see if they're one of the 150 workers who will be transferred to another power station. But there are still many workers who will be out of a job and contractors who are out of a job in an area that already has high unemployment.
Jean Edwards, thank you. And join us tomorrow night at 7 for a special hour-long program bringing you all the stories of the day, as well as an in-depth look at the Hazelwood closure and what it'll mean for Victoria's power supplies.